Once upon a time, in a small village, there was a young, athletic boy hungry for success. To him, winning was everything, and success was measured solely by victory. One day, the boy prepared himself for a running competition where he would compete against two other young boys. A large crowd had gathered to witness the sporting spectacle. Among them was a wise old man who had traveled far to witness the little boy's performance. The race commenced, and though the competition was fierce, the boy dug deep, calling upon his determination, strength, and power. He crossed the finish line first. The crowd erupted in applause, cheering and waving at the boy. Yet, the wise man remained still and calm, expressing no sentiment. The little boy, however, felt proud and important. Another race was called, and two new young and fit challengers stepped forward. Once again, the little boy ran with all his might and crossed the finish line first. The crowd cheered enthusiastically, but the wise man's expression remained unchanged. The little boy's pride grew, and he eagerly requested, "Another race! Another race!" The wise old man stepped forward and presented him with two new challengers, an elderly, frail lady and a blind man. "What is this?" the boy questioned, puzzled. "This is no race." "Race," replied the wise man with a calm authority. The race began, and as expected, the boy finished quickly, leaving the elderly lady and the blind man standing at the starting line. He raised his arms in delight, but this time, the crowd remained silent. Confused, the boy asked the wise man, "Why do the people not cheer for me?" "Race again," the wise man said. "This time, finish together. All three of you." The boy pondered the words for a moment, then stood between the blind man and the frail lady. Taking both of them by the hand, he walked slowly, ever so carefully, toward the finish line. Together, they crossed it. The crowd erupted in applause, cheering even louder than before. The wise man smiled gently, nodding his head. The boy felt a different kind of pride, deeper, more meaningful. "Old man, I do not understand," the boy said. "Who are the crowd cheering for? Which one of us three?" The wise man looked into the boy's eyes, placed his hands on the boy's shoulders and replied softly, "Little boy, for this race, you have won much more than in any race you have ever run before. And for this race, the crowd cheers not for any winner, but for the act of kindness and unity you displayed. You see, in life, what are you running for? Are you hungry for success? Is winning the only measure of achievement for you? Who are you running against? If you always win against everybody, soon the people will stop cheering for you. At the end of your life, if you look back, the real question is, who was running next to you in this race? If they were weaker and old, did you help them to get across the line? Did you all finish together? Because that is the best race you can ever run. So run this race called life. But remember, it's not important if you win. It's important how you run this race. Stay blessed and keep inspiring. Glowing star. Once upon a time, a curious young boy approached his father and asked, "Father, what is the value of my life?" Thinking face. The father looked at him, smiled, and handed him a simple, unremarkable stone. Then he said, "Son, if you truly wish to understand the value of your life, take this stone and go to the market. If anyone asks you about the price, don't say a word. Just raise 2 fingers." The boy, puzzled but obedient, took the stone and went to the bustling market. Shopping cart busts in silhouette. As he wandered through the crowd, an old woman approached him, her eyes glinting with interest. "How much is this stone?" she asked. The boy remembered his father's words and silently raised 2 fingers. "Victory hand." $2, the woman exclaimed. "I'll take it." The boy was surprised but hurried back home to tell his father. "Father, a woman at the market wanted to buy the stone for $2. The father nodded and said, "Now, son, take the stone to the museum. And again, if anyone asks the price, don't say a word. Just raise 2 fingers." So, the boy went to the museum. Framed picture, classical building. After some time, a well-dressed man approached him and asked, "Sir, how much is this stone?" The boy raised 2 fingers. Victory hand. The man's eyes widened. $200? I'll take it. Shocked, the boy ran home to his father. "Father, a man at the museum wanted to buy the stone for $200. The father smiled gently and said, "Now, my son, I want you to take the stone to a precious stone store. Go inside, and if anyone asks the price, just raise 2 fingers." The boy ran to the luxurious store, Gemstone Department Store. As he entered, an old man behind the counter looked up and gasped. His eyes sparkled with excitement. "Oh my God! I've been searching for this stone my whole life," he exclaimed. "How much do you want for it?" The boy, following his father's instructions, raised 2 fingers. Victory hand. The man's face turned serious. $200,000? I'll take it. The boy was overwhelmed. He raced back to his father, his heart pounding. "Father, the man at the precious stone store wanted to pay me $200,000 for the stone." The father looked at his son with warmth in his eyes and said, "Do you understand now, my son? The value of your life is all about where you place yourself. Light bulb sparkles, you can decide if you want to be a $2 stone or a $200,000 stone." He continued, "There will always be people who see your true worth and others who will only see you as something ordinary. It's up to you to decide where you place yourself and how you allow the world to value you. Always remember, my son, your worth is not defined by others. It's defined by you." Flexed biceps red heart. Let me tell you a fascinating story about the time when Buddha helped cure a man from his laziness and taught him something truly valuable. One day, while Buddha was preaching his teachings to guide the world toward enlightenment, a wealthy man from the nearby town of Savatthi approached him. This man, who possessed great riches, suffered terribly from various ailments. His body was heavy, he constantly felt drowsy, and even the smallest movement brought him pain. With his hands clasped in respect, the man spoke, "O Lord Buddha, please forgive me for not greeting you properly. My suffering is overwhelming. I'm plagued by obesity, excessive drowsiness, and other discomforts that prevent me from moving without pain." Buddha looked at the man and noticed the luxuries he surrounded himself with. Then, with a calm and gentle voice, he asked, "Would you like to understand the true cause of your ailments?" The man, eager for relief, nodded with sincerity. Buddha replied, "There are 5 things that cause the suffering you describe: lavish meals, love of sleep, chasing after pleasure, thoughtlessness, and lack of purpose." He continued, "If you wish to heal your body, you must exercise self-control with your meals and engage in duties that will use your abilities to help others. Through this, you will not only improve your health but also bring meaning to your life." Taking Buddha's words to heart, the wealthy man decided to change his ways. He became more mindful of his eating habits, reduced his indulgences, and dedicated himself to meaningful work. As time passed, his body grew lighter, his energy increased, and his mind became sharper. Feeling rejuvenated, the man returned to Buddha, this time without the grand horses or lavish luxuries. With genuine humility, he said, "Master, you have cured my bodily ailments. Now, I seek the enlightenment of my mind." Buddha smiled and said, "The ordinary man nourishes only his body, but the wise man nourishes his mind. Those who only pursue the satisfaction of their appetites bring about their own destruction. But those who walk the path of purpose and wisdom will find salvation from suffering and a life of true fulfillment." He continued, "If all you do in life is feed your desires and chase pleasure without any purpose or thought, what kind of person will you become? If you are a young root, how can you expect to grow into a strong and meaningful tree living this way? Always seek balance. Find the right amount of rest, nourishment, and usefulness. Enjoy life, but also have a purpose and strive to nourish your mind. Set goals for yourself, and always aim to grow in your understanding of this universe." The man left with a renewed sense of purpose. This lesson from Buddha wasn't just about curing physical ailments but finding true meaning and balance in life. Stay blessed and always strive to grow. Once upon a time, there was a very lazy man living in a small village. He always tried to find ways to get food without putting in any hard work. His days were spent wandering aimlessly, hoping to stumble upon something that would fill his stomach. One morning, while strolling through the peaceful countryside, the lazy man's hunger became unbearable. Desperate for food, he decided to steal some apples from a nearby orchard. But as soon as he reached out to pick an apple, a farmer spotted him and started running towards him, shouting angrily. Terrified, the lazy man ran as fast as he could and escaped into the dense forest nearby. His chest heaved from the effort, but he was finally safe from the furious farmer. As he wandered deeper into the forest, something peculiar caught his eye. He saw an old wolf crawling on the ground. The wolf only had 2 legs and could not run or hunt for himself. The man wondered how such a crippled creature could survive in the wild, where danger lurked everywhere. Suddenly, the man's thoughts were interrupted by the sight of a lion approaching the wolf. The man's heart pounded with fear, and he quickly climbed a tree to save himself. From above, he watched with eyes wide open as the lion dropped a piece of meat right in front of the wolf. The wolf eagerly ate the meat, seeming content and happy. The lazy man was amazed. He thought to himself, God surely has a plan for every creature. If this crippled wolf can be fed without doing anything, then surely God must have a plan for me too. Inspired by what he had seen, the man decided to sit and wait for someone to bring him food. After all, if God provided for the wolf, why not him? So, he sat under a tree and waited, and waited, and waited. 2 days passed, and not a single soul brought him food. Inspired by what he had seen, the man decided to sit and wait for someone to bring him food. After all, if God provided for the wolf, why not him? So, he sat under a tree and waited, and waited, and waited. 2 days passed, and not a single soul brought him food. Finally, overwhelmed by hunger and frustration, the lazy man gave up. Weary and disappointed, he decided to leave the forest and continue his search for food. On his way back, he encountered an old sage sitting calmly by the side of the road. Desperate for answers, the man told the sage everything he had seen and experienced. Then he asked, "Oh, wise one, God showed mercy to the crippled wolf. But why didn't he show mercy to me?" The sage smiled gently and replied, "It's true that God has a plan for everyone, and you are certainly part of his plan. But, my son, you have misunderstood his message. He didn't want you to be like the wolf. He wanted you to be like the lion." The lazy man's eyes widened as the truth hit him. He had spent days waiting helplessly, when all along he was meant to rise up, work hard, and be strong like the lion. Sometimes in life, we misread God's signs and take them the wrong way. But with reflection and understanding, we can find the path meant for us, the path of effort, courage, and true fulfillment. I hope this story helps you see the signs in your own life a little more clearly. May you find your purpose and follow it with the strength of a lion. The secret power of the universe. Deep within each of us lies an incredible power, limitless, boundless, and waiting to be discovered. This is not just the power of the mind or the will. It is something far greater. It is a spiritual force, indestructible and ever-present, yet hidden until we are ready to embrace it. Unlike physical strength or intellectual capability, this power is divine in nature. It transcends ordinary human faculties and remains dormant until we reach a state of spiritual maturity where we can be trusted with its use. The power of thought. Thought is an incredibly potent force, capable of shaping our reality. With it, we can either align ourselves with the infinite energy of the universe or cut ourselves off from it entirely. Our thoughts act as a bridge, either connecting us to our divine source or creating the illusion of separation. The truth is, we are never truly separated from the infinite. Through the divine spark within us, our true essence, we are forever connected to the boundless source of life and power. However, if we remain unaware of this connection, we cannot fully access the infinite resources that are rightfully ours. Awakening to infinite power. Once we awaken to this inner truth, we become the masters of our destiny. The realization of our oneness with the divine transforms us, granting us access to limitless power and potential. Yet, this revelation does not come to those who seek power for selfish gain. It is only revealed when we surrender our personal will to the greater will of the universe. Some fear that spiritual power, if widely known, could be misused by the unworthy. While it is true that individuals with strong belief in their own abilities unconsciously tap into hidden energies, Their use of spiritual power for selfish ends is ultimately limited. Those who seek such knowledge for personal gain often find themselves unable to access its true depth. The universe withholds its deepest secrets until we are truly ready to receive them. The illusion of separation. Many people live their lives believing they are separate from the divine. This belief leads to feelings of weakness and helplessness, making them prisoners of their own minds. But the reality is far different. Man is never truly separate from spirit. He is an inseparable part of the infinite whole, living and moving within the divine presence. The moment we shift our perception, we step out of limitation and into boundless strength. One moment we may feel lost and alone. The next, we realize that we are divine beings, heirs to infinite power. This understanding brings a radical transformation, awakening us to our true potential. The key to unlocking your power. While thought itself is not the ultimate power, it is the key that either connects or disconnects us from it. If we think ourselves weak, we become weak. If we believe we are separated from the divine, we experience life as though we are. But the moment we recognize our unity with the infinite, we step into our true strength. A materialistic mindset leads to a limited existence. But when we see ourselves as spiritual beings, we unlock the divine power within us. The way we think about our challenges also shapes our reality. If we believe our tasks are difficult, they will be. But if we approach them with confidence, they become effortless. Your divine inheritance. The power within you is infinite. By aligning yourself with the divine source, you gain access to an endless reservoir of strength, wisdom, and abundance. You are not separate from this power, you are one with it. Like the prodigal son returning home, you must awaken to your divine nature and claim your inheritance. Within you lies the key to a life of fulfillment, purpose, and boundless potential. Embrace it, and step into the power that has always been yours.